Day 28, we're wrapping up our fourth week together, and this is caring for countries. You probably noticed the not so subtle backdrop here as we've been talking about purpose this week. And first of all, share with each other about which countries you've been to. Not America, but other countries. And what was that experience like? What did you learn? What did you see? How did that impact and change your life? I think it's so powerful to go to another country. It's one thing to study, but then when you actually experience it yourself, for me, going to Zimbabwe was so eye-opening. The levels of poverty there, I've heard about poverty, I understand the concept of poverty, but it's something very different when you see it in a nation. Similarly with AIDS, I was aware of AIDS, but when there were guys on our professional soccer team that died, when there was national team players that suddenly died in the early 20s, that impacted me. In fact, the person who I went with in Zimbabwe, they've devoted their whole life as a couple. Now they've devoted their whole life to helping educate and protect people from AIDS. And I can't think of how many lives that saved. When you go to a country and you experience the realities there, you might end up finding yourself serving, devoting. There's a joyful responsibility. I say that joyful responsibility. If you've been given much, I think much will be kind of expected. Much is going to be given to other people, at least it should. If you've received a lot, you should give a lot. And in America, we have so much compared to many nations in this world. I'm thinking about a family and friends who lost their dad in Ecuador. Their dad went to Ecuador, served there, but also died there, was tragically killed there. But through his life and some others that were with him, generations were impacted. Now, yes, it meant that, sometimes their spouse is going to survive, but they didn't, and the tragedy there, but at the same time, the impact is immeasurable in the country of Ecuador. So that's one specific example. But it doesn't always end that way. A lot of times you just go and great relationships, great friendships, and you learn so much, and that changes the way you see the world. And then you're able to be more effective, more generous because of that. I'm blown away through social media and technology right now. I've just made some friends in Pakistan recently, and we're developing this great friendship. And it's so available, it's so simple, it's so easy. This is really a section to expand your vision. Maybe you've had kind of small thinking and you haven't really realized the potential that's there with the nations. And I encourage you to gather. Maybe choose one country. Start out with one country that you either want to go to, learn more about, meet people who live in America, are from that country. And as you dive in, just see what doors are going to open as far as caring for other countries, caring for people in other countries, and how that's going to change the way you live. When you look back at the end of your life and you say, well, what was the story of your life? What were some of the greatest highlights of your life? I'm convinced it's going to be linked to other nations. That's right, blessing other nations. And I believe that we've received so much so that we can be a blessing, in not just locally or nationally, but around the world. Have a big vision. Again, it's time to dream and start thinking about the world and how you can make a difference together as a couple.